about some different programs that have come out. I'll also give you some insight as to what to expect in the future. My name is Jeff Badu, and I'll give a formal introduction when we get to the introduction section. So today we'll be going through an intro of who I am, my purpose in life, and why is it that I'm speaking on this topic. We'll go through the CARES Act, just to give you guys some background as to the CARES Act that was passed in March or last month. We'll talk about unemployment, some of the additional benefits that are now being provided. We'll go through the stimulus check that recently came out that everybody's talking about, retirement provisions and changes, student loans, business relief. That's where we'll spend most of our time. And then throughout, you guys can feel free to ask any questions by unmuting yourself or posting in the chat box. And through each slide, I'll basically, we'll go through questions as we go along. Now, one thing too is I will be demonstrating on some of the websites. So we'll specifically go to some of the websites just so you guys can have an understanding as to how to access some of these resources. And by the way, so when I present, I usually don't try to keep it too long. So we'll probably go till 7:45 Central, and then I will open up the floor for any questions, and then we'll wrap up at the end. So who am I? My name is Jeff Badu. I am a University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, UIUC graduate. I had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, so I do have a formal education in accounting. I'm a parallel entrepreneur and a wealth multiplier. I'm the founder and CEO of Badu Enterprises LLC, which is a multinational conglomerate in the finance industry. We provide a suite of financial services, and our marquee company is Badu Tax Services LLC, which is a tax firm that specializes in tax preparation, planning, and representation for individuals and businesses across all 50 states in the U.S., as well as servicing clients in about 10 countries right now. I'm also the founder and CEO of Badu Investments LLC, which is primarily a multifamily real estate investment company. We invest in multifamily rental units on the south side of Chicago in areas such as Woodlawn, Auburn, Gresham, Chatham, and the surrounding south side neighborhoods. We do anywhere from 4 units. So we do 4 units all the way up until our target is about 20 units right now. And the next year we'll probably scale up to the 50 unit market, and then 100 units and so on and so forth. So that's what we do. All we do is we acquire the buildings, whether they need some work. Most of them don't need any work really. And then we pretty much rent them out to tenants that need them. I also have investments in Gary, Indiana. So I do participate in the Gary, Indiana tax sale, and also have some investments in Ghana where we're working on some Airbnb projects at the moment. And Ghana is where I'm originally from. I migrated to the US when I was 8 years old. Why am I here today? Is because I'm very passionate about financial literacy and really teaching people about money. And today I'm here to provide you guys with resources. And my purpose in life is to inspire and support the super hungry to take hold of infinite resources in order to create an abundant lifestyle. And as Steve mentioned earlier, I am a member of the Renatas community. So I do participate in the real estate education as a student, as well as an instructor for the tax and legal section. Now let's talk about the CARES Act. This act was passed on Friday, March 27, 2020. Basically, it's a coronavirus relief act that provided $2 trillion of emergency relief package to individuals and businesses. Now, there's a strong possibility, there's a 100% chance that more money is coming soon. So I'll go through what's currently here right now, and I'll also give you guys some outlook as to what I've been reading, and just to give you guys some insight as to what's coming. Some of these programs that I'll talk about today, the money has been technically depleted, but there will be more money coming soon to fund these programs, so they are still very relevant. Now let's talk about unemployment. So with unemployment, basically there's an additional $600 weekly benefit through July 31st, 2020. Meaning if you were supposed to collect $1,000, let's say per week, then they would tack on an additional $600 per week to your benefit through July 31st, 2020. And in case the states do and will run out of unemployment, money. 22 million people filed for unemployment over the past month. 22 million people. Last week it was 6.6 million or so. Actually, I'm sorry, it was 5.2 million that people that filed for unemployment just this past week alone. The previous week it was 6.6, and then the other week before that it was also another 6 million or so. So the feds are basically stepping in to provide an additional 13 weeks of federally funded unemployment benefits through the end of 2020. Now, unemployment benefits through 2020 for many who would not otherwise qualify, including independent contractors and part-time workers, are included in this bucket. However, here's the sad part. The states haven't actually figured out how to provide unemployment benefits for these people. And these are people like you and I, basically, self-employed, independent contractors, small business owners. So they haven't figured out a way to get folks in the system, because technically self-employed folks that don't have a W-2, they don't have unemployment insurance. So you technically can't claim unemployment if you don't have unemployment insurance. But they did say that they will, quote unquote, figure out a way to basically get us unemployment. So that's still in the works. Hopefully we'll be able to get something there. But what I challenge people to do with this money, let's say you don't need it, maybe you're just collecting it to boost your wealth. You can use this money to fund your real estate, maybe some down payment money, education, things of that nature. Now, really quick, let's actually go through. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. First thing I'll do is I'll share you guys a screenshot of basically the unemployment website. So this is the Illinois Department of Employment Security website. This is just a screenshot, just telling you all about the different things. And as you can see here, the $600 federal increase is now available. Those claiming certifying beginning April 6th will see the additional supplemental income applied to their weekly benefit amount. This increase is available through the week ending July 25th, 2020. So this is actual. So now let's go to the IDES. IDS is the Illinois Department of Employment Security. So usually anytime I'm searching something, I just simply go to Google and I just punch it in, whether it's IDES, Illinois Department of Employment Security, unemployment, just use keywords in Google, and I usually see the first thing pop up. So as you can see here, and of course they have a time limit. So they're saying online filing claims applications will be unavailable every night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we got about an hour left, to file for unemployment tonight. So basically, yeah, you just go to the website and you scroll through, you make sure you read the information. You see the $600 benefit here. And here we go. Are you an independent contractor, sole proprietor, or a worker who typically is not eligible? Click here for more information about how the new federal stimulus can help you. So let's just click it and see what happens. And this just goes through mumbo jumbo. We won't really read through it. Basically, what they're going to say is you're not eligible yet. I mean, you are, but you're not technically eligible yet. So they still haven't, I've contacted the Department of Employment Security, and they still don't have enough information. So here we go. How do you file a claim? It's usually the first link. Unemployed as a result of COVID-19. Click here to find information about filing the claim. You click it. Let's see. Actually, let's just go straight to the actual claim. So there's a link here. It says file a UI claim online. So let's click it. Right, and then they'll make you read everything. So they'll make sure here are 10 things you need to know. You must be accurately reporting the fact that you are unemployed. So you have to be unemployed in order to get this benefit. All right, do not pay an agent to file your claim. Do not commit fraud. So this is a criminal offense if you don't qualify for unemployment, but next thing you know, you're applying. So that can have some very serious consequences. This is government money you're dealing with. So basically, yeah, to file the claim, you just follow this link. Actually, sorry about that. You have to first check the box, and then, boom, file your claim online. Then basically, you'll have to enter in your username and password if you have one. If you don't, then you have to register. So we won't go through this process, but you'll type in your, driver's license or state ID, issuing state, first name, last name, date of birth, social security number, and then you just follow the prompts. So if you're self-employed or sole proprietor, you'll notice that it will have $0 as your qualified amount. So ultimately, like you can certainly apply and see if it will go through, but you'll still see the $0 on that site. So they haven't technically figured out a full way to provide the benefit yet. So with that being said, let's go back into the presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions at this time. If we have any, Steve.
I'm sorry, okay, I'm muting myself. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself. If you click the mic image in the left side in the computer, you can ask questions. This is just for the unemployment benefit. Okay, is there any questions?
None for me yet, no.
Okay.
All right. Well, it sounds like nobody needs unemployment then.
Well, I'm still working at this point, barely, but still working.
Got it. Hey, it's a tough time, but
okay. Ross is asking, how can owner of S Corp file?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as an S corporation, you're legally required to pay yourself what's called reasonable compensation, aka W-2 salary. So if you have the W-2 salary, if you've been following the IRS rules and you have a W-2 salary, typically we run W-2 salary for our clients at 25% of their net profit. So if you netted $100,000 throughout the year, we're going to run a salary for you or payroll for you for $25,000. So if you're in this role where you're an S corp, technically, now they have come out with some rules and things of that nature. Technically, you can file for unemployment. However, as far as whether it's the best thing to do or not, it's still not to be known yet. But basically, you would file for unemployment by temporarily, quote unquote, laying yourself off. Like for example, all our clients, we run payroll through ADP. ADP is the company we use for payroll. So we would go into the portal and we would basically temporarily lay ourselves off because we can't work due to COVID-19. Then once we lay ourselves off, then we go into the Illinois Department of Employment Security website. We log in, create our account, punch in the info, and then they'll tell us what the benefit amount is plus the $600. So that is how, the only way to really do it as of right now is if you had payroll or you ran W-2 payroll for your S Corp. And then that also, your employees and everybody else can pretty much file for unemployment as well. So hopefully that answers that question.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, another question. All right. Is there anything else? All right, let's move on.
All right, thanks, Steve. All right, so let's talk about this stimulus check, this infamous stimulus check that came in the mail or came through direct deposit last Wednesday, and some people who didn't get it are like panicking out of their shoes right now. But a stimulus check of $1,200, and it's $2,400 if you're filing jointly, plus $500 for each qualifying child. So if you claim somebody and they're under the age of 17 and not anything over, but under the age of 17, you get an additional $500 for that child. The requirements for this is you must, and I repeat, you must have at least a 2018 tax return on file. So if you're one of those that earn income and you haven't filed since like 2011, then you won't get a stimulus check. It's very, very simple, right? And I'll show you guys like ways around it in case you did not earn income in those given years. But if you have a 2019 tax return, then, or if you filed a 2019 return, then that's what's used on a calculation. So checks are phased out for those with adjusted gross income or AGI exceeding $75,000. And of course, one of the benefits of being a married couple is they double all your benefits pretty much. I usually encourage my clients to get married, partially because of this reason. But $150,000 if you're married filing jointly, and then $112,500 for those filing head of household. So it basically starts phasing out. The check amount goes down. One thing they did come out, if you owe child support or any sort of like debt, they could apply this money to that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you know you owe child support and you didn't receive a stimulus check in the mail, that's probably why. Usually what you can do with this money, hey, let's say you don't need it. Put it in a bank, grow your real estate business, use it as supplemental for your down payments and things of that nature, earn this money. It's a great way to grow your real estate business. But overall, here are a few things to note. So in case you did not, let's just say that you did not earn income in 2018 or 2019. They do have that option to go to the IRS.gov website, which we'll go to in a second, and basically file. You can use what's called a non-filer. And you only qualify if you know you did not earn income in 2018 or 2019. If you did earn income in 2018 or 2019, you must file a standard or regular 1040 individual tax return. They won't let you get away with a non-filer if you know you're supposed to file and you went to the website and used a non-filer. That's not a loophole you should be testing. So yeah, basically, if you don't have income in 2018 or 2019, then you can certainly use a non-filer, enter your direct deposit information, and you'll get your direct deposit in maybe 2 to 4 weeks or so. And then for those who are earning Social Security or disability, you don't have to file. They'll automatically deposit the money into your bank account. Now, I always encourage my clients and the people I meet, hey, just file anyway. Even if you think you're not supposed to file, just file, right? Even if it's a $1 tax return, the IRS allows you to submit a $1 tax return. Just file, stay compliant. They'll have issues when you're applying for mortgages and things. They'll ask you for tax returns. So the best thing you can possibly do is to file your taxes and to file them on time, right? We got to make sure we're doing things the right way if we want these government benefits and these government programs. So let's really quickly go to the website that basically, so I'll first show you the screenshot. So this is the portal to get the stimulus check. So let's just go there right now. Basically, it's IRS.gov, right? So that's the main page you go to. First step is IRS.gov. And then, just view the page. Anytime I go to a new website, I just check out the page, see what's on it. So if you do not have to file a tax return, then you would use the non-filers, enter payment information here. So you would click it, right? And then you at least read the prompts, read what it says. And it tells you exactly who qualifies to use this. So you click non-filers, enter payment information here. Then it's going to take you to a fillable form. You click get started, and you have to create an account, username, password. You create the account, punch in, just basic info, name, social, address, date of birth, and then they'll verify who you are, and then you tell them, hey, I didn't earn any income in 2018 or 2019. This is a legal statement that you're signing. So if you did earn income in 2018 and 2019, and you did not file then you can use it. If you know you earn income, right, you cannot use this portal. I want to make sure that's very clear, that nobody's doing anything illegal or going to jail for anything crazy because of a $1,200 check. It is certainly not worth it. But essentially, there is, for those that haven't gotten their stimulus check yet, here's one or two things that may have happened. One is they may be mailing your check to your address, and they will use your most recent tax return that's filed, the address on there. So if you've moved, you must notify the IRS through basically a change of address form, or you can call them and tell them over the phone and they'll honor it. So if you've moved and you did not use direct deposit, and I mean not direct debit, but direct deposit last year, then you must notify the IRS if you want your check, right? If you did direct deposit, you'll automatically get your payment. So if you want to check the status, go to get my payment, right? Always read the prompts before you click anything, always read it. So it tells you what type of things they'll tell you here, right? So then you click get payment or get my payment, and then it gives you the warning. You punch in your info, your social security number, your date of birth, street address, you confirm, and then they'll tell you what the status of your payment is. Now, here's the thing. Please do not The IRS does not want any phone calls right now. So they're trying to give as much information as possible. This information right here is very critical to read. I had at least 50 phone calls this past week just on this message right here. Reasons you may get status not available. Get my payment will return, payment status not available if the application doesn't yet have your data or you are not eligible for payment. Right? Really simple. It doesn't mean that you won't get a check, right? It just means it's not available right now. I had 50 people call me last Wednesday, and I'm like, you know, we got to make sure we're reading this stuff when we go to these websites. Because if we're not reading, if we're just going, you know, angrily at the IRS without actually reading the material, reading the stuff that's on the page, then it won't really get us anywhere. We'll be frustrated, and we won't know what to do. So that's the gist when it comes to the stimulus check. Now, really quickly, there is a potential another $2,000 a month per household coming. I'm sorry, per person, right? So $2,000 a month per person. So if you're filing jointly, it's $4,000. If you have kids, you know, then it's an extra $500. So this is what I've heard Canada is doing. But basically, the U.S. is trying to mirror what they're doing. And it is likely that that bill will pass. I think it will pass. So, you know, it would be great to get $2,000 extra, right, per month, per head of or per lead person in the family, essentially. So that's definitely something to look forward to. Any questions on this one, Steve?
Not the chat section. Okay. If you have a questions, you can unmute yourself, ask questions. Jeff, you said already somebody start getting money?
Oh, yeah. People have gotten stimulus checks last Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw that news, but I have never heard it from anybody I know.
I have a few clients that got it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm checking my bank account every day, but somebody got, okay, among the participants, somebody got the money from the government? Yeah, nobody say yes. Just a moment.
Yes, I got the money.
Who said that?
Yeah, Kule, I got the money.
I got 2,400.
Oh, Muntas, you got the 2,400.
Yes.
Yeah,
You and your wife. Great.
Steve, I got mine this week.
Oh, how much?
1,200.
1,200. Oh, just individual. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Money is coming. All right.
Yeah. So the government is working.
What's the priority of these people?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What if, because I went to that site and someone that I know, I was trying to help them out. They are newly to SSI benefits, but last year they didn't have it. And so, you know, they were filling it out. It was saying, if you have SSI benefits, do not fill this out. But if they didn't receive any income, should they just fill it out anyways? I mean.
Yeah, so knowing the government, one thing I do is I always err on the side of caution when I'm dealing with the government. So if I know that something is very, very simple, right? It's a very simple step, going to the IRS website, filling out the 2-minute form, and that would guarantee me the check, I'm going to do that, right? Because I'll be the first to say I don't trust the government. So for me, I'm going to do that just to be safe, because who knows? Right now, the IRS is using 2018 information, according to research, according to what I've heard, and that they're not, with 2019, there's still some stuff that it's a little glitchy. So just, you know, just hearing that, I'm like, yeah, just go to the site, fill out the non-filer, see what happens. I mean, worst case, they say, hey, your check is in the mail or something like that. But yeah, my advice to your friend is definitely to use that non-filer.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Robert asking, if we receive the $1,200, do we need to take any action to receive the potential 2,000?
I mean, they haven't released, so that it's a very preliminary. The 2000 is very, very, very preliminary right now. It's, the Democrats are talking about it. But essentially, it would be the same way, right? So if and I would not repeat the same mistake. Here's the thing. Some people had their old addresses on the tax returns, meaning the checks went to their old address. Some people closed their bank accounts, meaning they couldn't get the check. So if I was somebody today, I would immediately update my information. If you know something has changed, I would update it. There's a change of address form you can fill out and send it to the IRS. There's basically, so at a bare minimum, let them know what your current most up-to-date address is in case the check is going to come to you. So yeah, I mean, it will be delivered in the same method, at least from the research that I've done.
All right. Is there anything else, everybody? Just a moment. Okay, thanks. All right. All right, let's move on.
All right, thanks, Steve. So next topic is retirement. Basically, required minimum distributions or RMDs from employer-sponsored retirement plans and IRAs would not apply for the 2020 calendar year. So typically, it used to be at age 70 and a half, you had to be forced to take money from your traditional retirement accounts. This does not include Roth accounts, because Roth they don't have those rules. So now, due to the Secure Act that was passed and is effective for the 2020 tax year, the age is now 72 and a half. But since the COVID-19 happened in 2020, there's no required minimum distribution. So this is a planning strategy for those who are forced to take the money and didn't really need it, especially now when retirement accounts have been depleted, right? You no longer have to take this money. So this could be a great strategy for you to use. Reserve the money, leave it in the account, let it do what it does, and basically rely on other funds. Next is a 10% early distribution penalty tax that would normally apply to distributions made prior to age 59 or 59 and a half or so, is waived for retirement plan distributions of up to $100,000. This includes IRAs, 401ks. One thing too, here's a very important point. For the 401ks, please do not get it confused. Your plan must allow you. So if you have an employer and you plan to take the money out, your employer must allow you. And maybe one of the reasons why your employer is not allowing you is because it's not in your best interest, because the stock market values have gone down tremendously ever since the beginning of the year, right? So they're probably saying, hey, you might want to reconsider doing this whole withdrawal, right? So some 401k plans aren't allowing people to withdraw money right now. I mean, most still are, but I would say I don't think this is a very smart thing to do because of the fact that stock market values have gone down. Now, if you have a self-directed IRA or anything like that, hey, maybe now's the time to sell that asset and take some distributions, right? This could be a great tax planning strategy because values of real estate haven't really changed. They will change over the next few months. I guarantee you real estate values will go down because supply is going to be high and demand is going to be down because there will be too many sellers looking to sell, but there won't be enough qualified buyers to buy. So what happens when supply is high and demand is low? Prices tend to go down, right? It's simple economics. So right now is not a good time to be pulling from your 401k or IRA. And I understand some people might need this money. So if you absolutely need it and the stimulus check isn't enough, the unemployment isn't enough, the PPP isn't enough, if those things aren't enough and you really desperately need the money, this could be a great opportunity. Or here's another way to look at it. You can use the money as a down payment for your real estate investments. Perhaps that could be a good idea if your real estate investment is going to yield you a higher return than that mutual fund or index fund is sitting in. So this one, you really have to sit down and strategize. Also, limits on loans from employer-sponsored retirement plans have been expanded. So, for example, you used to only be able to take up to $50,000 in your 401k as a loan, but now it's up to $100,000. And with that being said, we'll jump into the questions. As you can see, there's no demonstration or anything for this one.
All right. Is there any questions about this? Jeffrey, you said that the 401k, if you borrow from yourself, it's it's going to be, the limit is expanded to $100,000.
Correct. Yeah, you can take a loan up to $100,000 now instead of $50,000.
All right. And then usually it's 5 years to return to yourself, right? It's the same term.
Yeah, I mean, that one they haven't really expanded, but I mean, I could imagine they probably will. I personally think 5 years is more than enough time anyway
Okay.
to pay your own self back. So yeah, they might, but as of now, in the rules that I've read, they haven't quite yet.
All right. Is there any questions about this? Okay. I don't see any question. One more time. Is there any questions about this retirement? All right, let's move on.
All right, thanks, Steve. All right, so let's talk about our favorite topic of the day, student loans. A little history behind student loans is there's over $1 trillion in student loan debt right now. Student loan is basically the biggest fear of the government right now because people aren't getting, like a lot of people aren't getting the jobs that they were promised they would get. Student loan debt is outrageous. I believe the average is about 40,000 or so now. So with that being said, what happened with the government? They said, hey, if you have a government loan, we'll give you an automatic 6-month payment suspension, right? We'll suspend your payments for 6 months. You don't have to send us anything for 6 months because we know you went to school, you got a great degree, you got a great job, but you might have gotten laid off. And it takes about 3 to 6 months on average to recover from something like that. So they said automatically we'll stop your payment. You don't have to pay us for 6 months. This could be a strategy you can take advantage of. And I do believe this is also interest-free. So they're allowing you to do this interest-free. So any student loan held by the federal government is basically, they don't necessarily require any payments. And if you have a private loan, and if you're having trouble paying it, hey, worst you can do, or best thing you can do is pick up the phone, contact the loan provider and say, hey, I need an extension of payment, or are you willing to offer 0% interest or a lower interest rate? So this could be a time to maybe refinance some of your loans because interest rates have gone down as well. So yeah, this one, no demonstrations or anything. But any questions before we move to our favorite topic of the day, business relief?
All right, is there any questions about this? Student loans. Student loans. Seems nobody has student loan payment. Okay.
All right. Oh man.
All right, let's move on. Oh, just a moment.
All right. All right, go ahead.
Hold on. Do we contact the school? Do we have to contact the school?
So it looks like it's automatic when it's a federal loan by the government, but as I said earlier, I don't trust the government. So I don't think it would hurt to pick up the phone, contact the loan department, whether it's U.S. Department of Education, and just say, hey, I heard about the 6-month automatic extension. I just want to make sure it's correct, and I would like to take advantage of it. Please let me know the next steps. So although you don't have to, I'm a very cautious person, right? So I like to err on the side of caution. So I would call them anyway. I wouldn't rely on what you see that's out there. It is true that it's supposed to be automatic, but who knows?
Yeah, right, exactly. Is there anything else? All right, let's move on.
All right, so let's talk about business relief. This is why we probably all came here. We heard of SBA loans, PPP, EIDL, so many acronyms out there. So first and foremost, I would like to say I believe the government did an excellent job of really bailing business owners out as well as individuals. Now, whether or not they bailed the right business owners or the ones that actually needed to be bailed out, that remains to be seen. But basically, with business relief, there are payroll tax credits for retaining employees. So if you've had an employee that's been sick or been negatively impacted, and they do include self-employed in this definition, by the way, basically you get a tax credit on the payroll taxes, and if you're self-employed, the self-employment taxes, which will be recognized in the 2020 tax year tax return that's filed in 2021. So this one, you won't see it unless you filed your Q1 payroll. Basically, that one, your payroll company essentially can give you a credit, an advance credit that reduces the amount of taxes that you're paying for these employees. So that's a good thing, right? That's a great thing. This is a tax strategy we're using for some of our clients. Now, SBA loans, we've all heard of EIDL and PPP. And we'll go through on the next slide what that means. So let's just cover net operating loss rules really quickly. So a net operating loss is basically, let's say you lost $100,000 in your business, and full disclosure, this is what Donald Trump used in order to basically, not pay taxes for quite some time. Net operating loss rules have been expanded in that you can use a loss. Let's say you had a loss this year in 2019 tax year loss. You can go back in time on your 2018, 2017, and now even 2016 tax returns, usually 2 years in the past and then 20 years in the future. But now they're allowing you to go back in time, to claim a tax refund using that loss. So let's say that in 2018 you had a profit of 50,000. In 2019 you lost 100,000. You can use 50,000 out of that 100,000 to offset the basically offset the profit in 2018 and claim a tax refund. And then you can go back to 2017. Let's say you made a profit of 25,000, and you can use the remaining 50,000. You can use 25,000 there. And then let's say you lost money or you gained 25,000 in 2016. You can go back in time. Now here's what we're doing. We work with a lot of real estate investors. We're like, hey, real estate investor, especially those who are real estate professionals, such as realtors, property managers, inspectors, appraisers, and that sort of contractors. We're saying, let's do cost segregation on all your buildings. Cost segregation is the process where we go by and we accelerate the depreciation. So depreciation is when you purchase a property. You get to take a certain deduction over 27.5 years if it's residential and 39 years if it's commercial. You say, well, who wants to wait 27.5 years? How about we do it over maybe 3 to 5 years? So we do cost segregation where we can accelerate up to about 70% of the property purchase price, even if you put down 2% on it or 0%. We can do that. We can wipe out your tax bill for 2019 first and foremost. Then we can you can go back in 2018, wipe out your tax bill for that year. You get a tax refund. It might take some time, but you'll get it. And then let's go to 2017 and then 2016. Anything left over, we just carry over into the future. That's what we call cost segregation on steroids, to take advantage of the net operating loss, right?
Yeah.
So
just a moment,
yes,
Todd. Okay, Todd, you have questions? You can unmute yourself, ask questions.
Yeah, about the cost segregation. Excuse me. I purchased a building back in 2015. It was a 3-unit.
Mm-hmm.
I rehabbed it, but I never did any cost segregation since the time I've actually owned it. Would it make sense to maybe look at that or redo my taxes going back? Or
yeah, and that's a nice thing. You don't even have to redo the taxes. We can do cost seg and go back in time. Is not to get too detailed into the process, but we would have an engineer come out to your property. And so we do cost segregation studies. So if this is something you're looking to proceed with, we can help you with that. We'll have an engineer go to the property, do an examination or report on the property, and then basically sends me the report, and then I file the necessary tax forms. So we don't even need to amend your tax return. We would just basically attach it to the return and then file a claim for a tax refund. So I think it makes sense to answer your question.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ross, okay, just a moment. I'm reading. Takam, can you read?
Yeah.
Just a moment.
Okay. By prior loss, you mean on 1120S and ultimately on 1040 as the distribution is transferred?
Yeah, so not to get too complicated, but we're talking about the 1040 here. So the depreciation itself. So here's the thing, in real estate, we never hold real estate in an S corporation. That's the first rule. We never hold real estate in a corporation, period. We always hold real estate in an LLC, limited liability company. So if you're in the unlikely event where you put your real estate in an S corp, and I mean rental real estate, and this only works for rental real estate, by the way, this cost seg thing. But if you put your rental real estate in an S corp, then yeah, the depreciation gets recognized on the S corp return. But then you basically, it carries over through your K1 on your personal tax return. So I wouldn't get too deep into the details on that one. I would just say, hey, if you believe a cost study is worth it, let's just go ahead and do it. We'll figure out the mechanics as far as the technicals.
Okay, and then one more question. Do the net operating loss rules apply to rental property in your name, not in an LLC?
Yes, short answer is yes, it does.
Okay.
All right. Is there any other questions? All right.
All right.
Yeah, at this moment, we cannot apply anymore, right? But how? But we don't know when. Right now,
Yeah.
therefore, we don't know when we can apply next time. But we have to be. If you didn't apply yet, we have to be ready to apply anytime, whenever
Exactly.
it's open, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go. These are the last two slides of the day, as far as content is concerned. But EIDL is one of the SBA loan programs. I think the SBA did a great job, or the government at least, with this one. It's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Emergency Advance. It provides up to $10,000 loan advance to businesses, and independent contractors and self-employed individuals can qualify. Right, businesses with less than 500 employees can qualify, nonprofits, things of that nature. Here's one thing you must, and I mean you must have. This is where, as a business owner, you need to make sure you're doing things the right way, right? You're not getting lazy, or you're not getting too busy and not taking care of the business, the important business, right? You must have a 2019 tax return on file. So you must file a 2019 tax return to qualify for this program, whether it's an S corp, a sole proprietorship. You got to have a tax return filed, right, for 2019. You also need to have financials, meaning you have to show a profit and loss and a balance sheet, which we take care of for our clients. So balance sheet, profit and loss, income and expense statement. So Steve just brought up a good point. You can apply for this on the SBA.gov website. And really quickly, let me show you what the SBA site is saying right now. So I actually took a screenshot of this. Basically, they're saying that, notice, SBA is unable to accept new applications at this time for the EIDL COVID-19 related assistance program based on available appropriations funding. In short, they ran out of money, right? So they will come out with more money. What happens if they don't come out with more money? The U.S. economy would collapse and be destroyed, basically, and the world would be destroyed on top of that. So what can we do as business owners right now, even though we cannot apply for this specific loan? We get our tax return filed. First thing, you'll be surprised how simple this application is. It probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out this application. But you get your tax return filed because they will ask you for it. You get your profit and loss ready, your 2019 profit and loss showing how much income you made and how much expenses you made. You get your balance sheet ready, showing the assets and the liabilities of the company, right? So these are things you must do if you want government money. If you want money like that, then you got to make sure you're doing things the right way. So this is what you'll see on the SBA website: is the money is not yet here. It's not here, right? They've already spent it all. However, there is more money coming. I know for a fact it is. I'm a very optimistic person. Now let's talk about PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. It's a
Jeff,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Ross is asking. Also, my question too. I saw that the email, it's the amount of $10,000 is changed to $1,000 per employee, right?
So I believe so the $10,000 advance is actually, and I'll take you to the SBA site right now. It says this loan advance will provide up to $10,000 of economic relief to businesses that are currently experiencing temporary difficulties. So that amount has not changed. This is the actual SBA website that I just visited this morning.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. All right. So PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, the most fancy acronym, of this 2020. PPP, basically, it's a loan mainly to cover payroll. It's very, very straightforward. independent contractors and self-employed individuals do qualify. So I do applaud the government once again for really looking out for business owners and the self-employed and independent contractors, folks who usually don't qualify for these types of loans. So businesses with less than 500 employees can qualify. The nice thing with this loan is the loan payments can be deferred for up to 6 months, and there's no collateral personal guarantee required. It's a 1% interest rate loan with 2-year term. Loan will be fully forgiven if the funds are used for payroll costs up to 75%, interest on the mortgages, rent, and utilities. And you can usually apply through a bank or private lender. A few things to note. They ran out of money on this program as well. Also, the calculation is very straightforward. If you ran W-2 payroll, right, you take your average payroll for the past 12 months, all W-2 employees, including yourself, if you're on payroll, and you take that number and multiply it by 2.5. If you're self-employed, you take your profit, so your 2019 profit, and I know business owners love to show negative profit or zero profit. So if you have zero profit, you technically don't qualify for the PPP. That's just the reality of it. If you claim business loss, or if you are one of those that just doesn't like to claim a profit, and remember, in real estate, to get loans, you have to be showing profit, right? So not only are the banks teaching us a lesson, but the SBA is also teaching us a lesson too, that we got to do things the right way. Now, if you truly lost money in the business, then that's fine. You just don't qualify for PPP, but you qualify for EIDL. So PPP is for a business that actually either ran payroll for the year or has a net profit in the business. Now, let me take you through to a site that you can apply for. This is one of our lending partners. It's called Lendio. So as you can see here, SBA Paycheck Protection Program loans. Due to the overwhelming demand, in 2 weeks the money ran out. The SBA has reached a $350 billion cap set for PPP loans. You can still complete an application. So they're saying, hey, you can apply, lendio.com, apply through Lendio to be submitted to the SBA in the event that Congress increases funding for loans. An application submitted to Lendio does not, of course, guarantee you will receive the PPP loan. Don't let coronavirus hold your business back. Lendio can connect you to an SBA Paycheck Protection Program loan. So Lendio is a private, house, and they basically allow you to get loans through private banks. You can also apply through your bank, but I've heard that it's probably not a good idea because they're busy with a lot of applications. So yeah, any questions on this slide? And this is the formal Q&A session. I'll leave my contact information here in case you guys ever want to contact me.
Okay, Jeff, can you clarify the amount of EIDL? People are saying that $1,000 per employee, or still the 10K.
So yeah, that's a great question. To my knowledge, it's $10,000 advance to the business.
Ross saying that he received an email. It says $1K per employee.
Yeah, so that rule might have changed, but the SBA website itself is basically saying 10,000. So here's my advice to anybody who's on the call. Apply, right? First step is to apply when the application opens. Let them determine how much you'll get in the money because, hey, this is free money basically. Submit the necessary paperwork and see what you qualify for. Because in the application, it doesn't even ask you the amount that you're applying for. It just says, hey, submit us the information and then we'll tell you what you qualify for. So that's my best advice, is to not get too into the weeds of those details and to apply.
And then, okay, just in the case that's gonna be $1,000 per employee. What's a definition? What's a definition of this employee? What kind of people we can include? Is that like a 1099 people can be included in this employee?
Yeah. So the formal definition of an employee is somebody who's on W-2 payroll.
Right, I know, but
exactly.
They're gonna check who's gonna be employee one by one.
I mean, they could ask for, hey, let me see your payroll records, and that's why I'm saying the best thing you can do is apply for the program and let them determine who's an employee, what you qualify for, because they'll ask you for the documents. the moment they say, hey, you are approved for 10,000, 15,000, whatever that amount ends up being, you take the money and you basically do what you're meant to do with it. So when it comes to free government money, and this is free because a lot of these loans are forgiven. That's why I say it's free money. I don't worry about the amount. I worry about whether or not they're going to put the money in my bank account.
Mm-hmm. One question is, are we able to apply even though they ran out of money, or do we have to wait, have to keep checking until it is more money?
For EIDL, formally, you cannot apply. So you cannot apply for the EIDL specifically, but you can apply for PPP through a site like Lendio. And what happens is when you apply through Lendio, you'll be the first person in line once the money comes, becomes available.
All right, great. All right, everybody, it's open for Q&A right now. Is there any questions for any topic?
Is it any easier to get SBA loans for construction for 200,000, 300,000, 400,000?
I mean, in general, they do have SBA loans that are non-COVID-19 related. So if you're in that category where you cannot qualify for the EIDL or the PPP, which, currently they've ran out of money, they still do have applications open for regular SBA loans. And they do have specific construction loans. If you go on the SBA website, they actually have different loans for different industries. So if you have been impacted by COVID-19, you're willing to wait for more funds to be coming out, then I would first look at the EIDL and the PPP program. Definitely the EIDL one, because that one is going to be more money usually. But if you don't necessarily qualify, like let's say you don't qualify for one of these COVID-19 loans, then the SBA website has they have a great loan program for folks who are in construction. Always consult with the lender too, lending institution. If you need somebody, we have a lot of lenders. We actually have an in-house lending company where we're basically loan consultants. We help people partner with people who have the money. So we have a dedicated SBA contact that can help people apply for the loans themselves.
All right, just a moment. Can you read this? Okay, another question.
Mm-hmm. Can you apply for EIDL if rental property is in personal name and there are no employees? Owner handles all property responsibilities.
Yeah, that's a great question too. To my knowledge, they are allowing you to use your Schedule E as well. So your Schedule E for rental properties, and they'll basically use the net profit. So that's another thing, in that in real estate, we usually don't show profit on paper. We use depreciation and all this other stuff, which, yeah, I think it's a great strategy. There's probably maybe 5% of my clients that are real estate investors that actually pay income taxes, right? So with that being said, yes, you can apply, but the chances of you qualifying and getting approved is probably slim to none.
All right.
And that's the thing, is that the general theme is to apply anyway. Like, even if you don't think you'll get approved, just go ahead and apply, both EIDL and PPP. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. There's no credit checks, right? There's no personal guarantee. This is a loan that they're basically saying, here's the money. They're literally saying, here's the money, we're giving it to you. As long as you qualify, we'll give it to you pretty much.
All right, great. Anything else? Everyone, do you have any other questions on this topic? All right, so what? I keep asking, what is a site to apply PPP?
So you can go to lendio.com. Lendio.com is a great site, lendio.com, to apply for PPP. That one is not through the SBA's website. You have to go through a bank or a private lender such as Lendio, basically.
All right, Lendio. So, good. Anything else? Everyone, please apply. Okay, whatever you have to check if EIDL is open to us. We have to apply immediately. Last week, Okay, we didn't think money is running out so quickly, right? Anyway, first come, first serve. Therefore,
There you go. First in line to eat is the one that eats.
Right. It was surprised. It was shocked to hear that money ran out. Okay. We had the seminar Saturday, and then on Wednesday, money's gone. Okay.
Right.
Only 4 days. All right.
Oh man.
So this is the Jeff's contact info. If you need some consultations, please contact with Jeff. Then of course, this is his business too. Therefore, anyway, he might ask you some basic charges, but anyway, right, Jeff?
Yeah, just a few pennies go a long way.
Because he doesn't charge 30 minutes consultation for $1,000. I'm kidding. All right. Any other questions? All right, great. So if you any questions, I'm gonna
Yeah, let me stop sharing this.
Okay, I'm gonna show my screen. All right, just a moment, a few more slides, and then I'm gonna finish this.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys need access to the slides or anything, please reach out to me. Please contact me. I'm always open. This is something that we all need, and this is something that we all can take advantage of. And this is the time to get ahead. This is not the time to, relax and crying or whatever. This is the time to really thrive and be abundant and create opportunities that have never been created before.
Right, great, thank you very much. And this is event information for next week. So we Team Mass Action holds Zoom webinar on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Also Thursday night, 8 p.m. This is a collaboration with other team. And Friday night, 8 p.m. This is a virtual house tour and Q&A. All right, if you are interested in getting involved in real estate and also some home-based cash flow business, the sales business, just let us know. So, okay, that's it. Just one, hold on. Questions? Oh yeah, Jeff, the information. Okay. All right. Tequila's calling you Jeff, okay? And also Elvis. And also, we recorded this webinar tonight. That's why I'm gonna upload in YouTube channel and list it, and then send you the link for this webinar, okay, for everybody who participated tonight. Therefore, don't worry about this. You can get the content by tomorrow morning, okay? All right. Once again, thank you very much, Jeff. You are giving us lots of good information always, and I appreciate it. All right, that's the end of this session tonight. Thank you very much for everyone.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job, yeah.